Welcome, Romans. It is I, your Emperor, Kaza King Simp, and today I will be training you on the various firearms that you will be using throughout our glorious wars against the Coalition. There are many guns on CCNet. You have rifles, such as the Mosin gun, Lee Enfield, and Mannlicher M195. There are also snipers, such as the Gore 98, Springfield M1903, and then you got machine guns, which are the Madsen, Chow Chat, Barham 1918, the Lewis gun, and the MP18. Alongside this, you have sidearms, such as the M1911, the Colt C96, and the Colt Single Action Army. After sidearms, we have mounted rifles, Carcano M91, the Mosin Nagant M44. And last but not least, we have grenades, such as the frag grenade, the Molotov cocktail, and the concussion grenade. We also have an anti-tank rifle, the Tankour M1918. All of these rifles are very important, and because of this, you must know the difference between every single one of them. Before I introduce you to the various guns the server has to offer, you must learn to fire and aim and reload them first. Let's take the Mosin Nagant here as an example. Now, alongside this frag grenade, I will show you how to fire this weapon. First, you have to look at your target and right click to fire. You can do the same thing with a frag grenade. Right clicking is universal firing for all these weapons. Now, to aim your weapon, left click. Once you left click, you'll be in this mode. Alright, you can zoom in using a mod which lets you zoom in, such as Optifine or OptiZoom. The server, if you go to accessibility settings, will allow you to zoom in using this if you enable FOV effects. Now, to reload any gun, you can either expend all of your ammunition which will then allow the rifle to reload automatically, or alternatively, you can press the drop item key, which is usually set to the default key of Q, which will allow you to reload your rifle, or machine gun, or sidearm as long as you are holding it. Now that I've shown you how to use a gun, let's go over the several types of guns that you can use. We'll first begin by covering rifles. These are the three rifles that you can use on CCNet Nations. We'll first begin by using the Mannlicher. Now, before we begin, it is important to note that rifles are best used alongside machine guns, as they provide a 30% damage boost to rifles. This damage boost only applies to enemies hit by said machine guns. Alright? Now, here on this range, we have range visuals. Take note of the logs. Each one of them represents one chunk. This right here is one chunk. This is 2 chunks, that's 3 chunks, and that back there is 4 chunks. They will help you gauge the effective range for each gun, so that you may use it to its most effective range during combat. Now, this right here is a Mannlicher M1895. It deals 3 hearts of damage at a range of 16 blocks or 1 chunk. The rifle can deal an additional heart of damage with a headshot. Jerry Duck, please move up to the second line. Jerry Duck. There we go. Perfect. Now, I will demonstrate to you the 3 hearts of damage. And as I said before, this rifle can deal an additional heart of damage with a headshot. The Mannlicher uses 7.92 by 57 Mauser ammo with an ammo capacity of 5 rounds, and it is by far the fastest firing rifle. Next, we'll be covering the Lee Enfield. The Lee Enfield deals 3 hearts of damage at a range of 48 blocks or 3 chunks. This rifle can also deal an additional heart of damage with a headshot, just like the Mannlicher. Jerry Duck, please move back down 2 lines. 1 and 2. There we go. Now I'll demonstrate to you the 3 hearts of damage. Please take note on the GUI on the right side of the screen to best effectively see Jerry Duck's health. Here's that headshot for that 1 additional heart of damage. Now, the Enfield uses .303 British ammo with an ammo capacity of 10 rounds, and it is by far one of the slowest firing rifles. Now we'll be covering the Mosin Nagant. The Mosin Nagant deals 3 hearts of damage at a range of 64 blocks or 4 chunks. The rifle can deal an additional heart of damage, just like the Lee Enfield and the Mannlicher, with an additional headshot. Jerry Duck, please move back down to the last line. Here's 3 hearts of damage at a range of 4 chunks. Here's the headshot for that additional heart of damage. Now, the Mosin Nagant uses 7.62 by 57mm Mauser ammo with an ammo capacity of 6 rounds, and it is by far the easiest rifle to produce in terms of materials. Now that we have successfully covered the rifles, we will now be going over sniper rifles. Now, compared to regular rifles, snipers can deal damage at much further ranges, and they are best used alongside machine guns, just like the rifles. They are best used when covering friendlies. As they advance through the battlefield, you can also use snipers to pick off singled out enemies. We will first begin by covering the Springfield. The Springfield deals 3 hearts of damage at a range of 80 blocks or 5 chunks. In order to simulate this, I'll be going to the back side of the range. Now, here is this range for 3 hearts of damage. Just like the rifles, the Springfield can deal an additional heart of damage with a headshot. Please take note that the reticle that you are seeing on screen is only enabled when you are actually aiming the Springfield. And unlike the rifles, take note that when you are using the Springfield or any one of these 2 sniper rifles, you cannot aim or fire them while running around and moving. You must stand still in order to actually aim and fire the sniper. Now, the Springfield uses 30-06 Springfield ammo with an ammo capacity of 5 rounds. This is also the cheapest sniper rifle to produce. We will now be going over the Gawur 98. The Gawur 98 deals 3 hearts of damage at a range of 96 blocks, or 6 chunks. The sniper can deal an additional heart of damage, just like the rifles and just like the Springfield, with a headshot. To simulate this, I will have to go to the back of the range again. Observe. Here's this additional heart of damage. Now the Gawur 98 uses 752 by 57 Mauser ammo, with an ammo capacity of 5 rounds. This is also the most expensive sniper rifle to produce. Now that we have covered the sniper rifles, we will now go on to covering the machine guns. Here before me, I have the Chow Chap, the Bar M1918, the Madsen, the Lewis gun, and the AP-18. We will cover their damage ranges, ammo types, ammo capacities, and firing rates. And unlike the rifles, the machine guns by themselves cannot deal enough damage to kill a moving enemy. They must be paired with a rifle or a sniper to deal effective damage. This is because machine guns highlight enemies they hit using suppression. Right? Suppression is an effect which makes the target vulnerable to plus 30% damage from rifles. This means a rifle which deals 3 hearts of damage will now deal 4 hearts of damage per shot. And keep in mind, this damage example is without a headshot and at the most effective range of the rifle and sniper, which you should be familiar by at this time. Behold, suppression. As you can see, the enemy will be highlighted. They'll be highlighted for a couple seconds. As you can see, it is about 5 seconds, as you can see by the combat timer. Friendlies will be highlighted in a green glow. Neutrals will be highlighted in a white glow. And enemies will be highlighted in a red glow. All machine guns deal the same amount of time for suppression. It is important to use these machine guns at different ranges, however, to have the best effect on your enemy. The first machine gun which we'll be covering will be the Chow Chat. The Chow Chat deals 9 hearts of damage with a full magazine from 0 to 34 blocks of range, or 2 chunks. The machine gun fires at a steady rate with minimal recoil. Observe the damage dealt by a full magazine of a Chow Chat. That is one to reload. Behold. The Chow Chat uses Chow Chat magazines as its source of ammunition, with an ammo capacity of 20 rounds. This is one of the more steady machine guns to fire. The next machine gun which we'll be covering will be the Bar M1918. The Bar M1918 deals 6¼ hearts of damage at any range with a full magazine. The machine gun has a high rate of fire with a high recoil. Observe the 6¼ hearts of damage dealt by a full magazine. The Bar M1918 uses bar magazines with an ammo capacity of 20 rounds. This is the fastest firing machine gun that there is. The next machine we'll be covering will be the Madsen. The Madsen deals 9 hearts of damage at any range with a full magazine. This machine gun has a steady rate of fire with an average recoil. Behold the 9 hearts of damage on a full magazine. Once I reload. Behold 9 hearts of damage. Now the Madsen uses a Madsen magazine with an ammo capacity of 30 rounds. This is one of the more average rifles that you can have. The next machine gun which we'll be covering will be the Lewis gun. The Lewis gun deals 22 hearts of damage on a full magazine at any range, and it has a slow rate of fire with an average recoil. Behold, once I reload this real quick, I will show you 22 hearts of damage dealt here to Jerry McDuck. This might kill you. There we go. As you can see, the Lewis gun uses the machine gun drum with an ammo capacity of 47 rounds. This is the highest ammo capacity machine gun that there is, but it is also the most expensive to produce. The next machine gun which we'll be covering will be the MP18. The MP18 is a unique machine gun as it can deal more damage by itself using an effect called shell shock. Shell shock is an effect which is inflicted by tanks, heavy tanks, and IFE cannons. Just as an example, the MP18 will deal 7 hearts of damage on a full magazine at a range of 0 to 31 blocks or 2 chunks. This damage will be increased with shell shock to 21 hearts of damage on a full magazine. Behold, the effects of shell shock. The target will be highlighted using the grenade. Once they are highlighted, you can expend all 32 rounds of the MP18 magazine on your opponent. Now, the MP18 uses MP18 magazines with an ammo capacity of 32 rounds. This machine gun is best used when overtaking positions when supported by tanks or when equipped by grenades. Now that we have covered machine guns, it is time for us to cover mounted rifles. These rifles may be used on horseback, horses on ceasing that can deal increased damage, which is increased using swords, bows, and specific rifles. Now, these rifles that you can see before me, the Mosin Nagant M44 and the Carcano M91, are the only rifles which may be used on horseback. Now, before we get down to covering these two rifles, it is important to know how much damage these rifles can deal when mounted. At minimum, a horse will give an additional damage boost of 15%. This damage is given based on the speed which a horse is traveling. For example, you will deal 32% more damage when riding on a horse that is traveling at 12 blocks per second. It is also important to know that diamond armor reduces the speed of your horse by 15%, so choose your armor wisely. The first mounted rifle which we'll be covering will be the Mosin Nagant M44. The Mosin Nagant M44 deals 2.5 hearts of damage at a range of 16 to 31 blocks. This rifle is best used at shorter ranges. Jerry Duck, please move to the second line. Right there. Behold, 2.5 hearts of damage. The Mosin Nagant M44 uses 7.62 by 57mm ammo with an ammo capacity of 6 rounds. Unlike the sniper rifles, the machine guns, or the rifles, or the sidearms, the mounted rifles are the only weapons which feature bayonets. Bayonets may be enabled using left click. They deal additional damage also when the shell shock is inflicted upon an enemy. They take both the benefits from suppression and shell shock at the same time. Keep this in mind, that dealing damage to the backside of an enemy will deal additional damage, as you can see, compared to the front. You can tell you're dealing additional damage when you see those fireworks go off. The next mounted rifle which we'll be covering will be the Carcano M91. The Carcano M91 deals 3 hearts of damage at a range of 32 to 47 blocks. This rifle, compared to the Mosin-Nagant M44, is best used at longer ranges. Jerry Duck, please go ahead and move to the third line. Good. Behold, 3 hearts of damage. Once I reload. Now, the Carcano M91 uses 7x92 by 57mm ammo. This is a rifle which has an ammo capacity of 10 rounds. Never mind, ammo capacity is 6 rounds. Now that we covered mounted rifles, we will now be moving on to a special rifle which may be used to take out tanks, heavy tanks, and IFVs. I present to you the Tank-Gouwer M1918. The Tank-Gouwer M1918 must be fired at a distance greater than 8 blocks to break concrete and terracotta blocks on an IFV, tank, or heavy tank. The rifle takes 4 seconds to deploy before it can be fired, and the rifle is a single-shot weapon. This rifle cannot be fired from peaceful towns, so therefore I cannot demonstrate to you the damage from within here. However, the Tank-Gouwer can deal 2.5 hearts of damage to a player at a range of 0 to 31 blocks. That is the range at which Jerry Duck is currently at, as you can see. The Tank-Gouwer can also deal an additional heart of damage with a headshot, just like the sniper rifles and just like the regular rifles. The Tank-Gouwer uses 13x2mm tough ammunition, and it again has an ammo capacity of 1 round. Now that we have covered the Tank-Gouwer, now it is time for us to cover sidearms. There are 3 sidearms on nations: the M1911, the Mauser C96, and the Colt Single Action Army. We begin by covering the Colt Single Action Army. The Colt Single Action Army deals 1.5 hearts of damage at any range. Jerry Duck, please come up here to the very first line. Behold, 1.5 hearts of damage. The Colt Single Action Army can also deal an additional half heart of damage with a back shot. The Colt Single Action Army has a maximum round capacity of 6 rounds, and it uses 7.65 by 21mm parabellum ammo to fire. The next sidearm which we'll be covering will be the Mauser C96. The Mauser C96 is, again, another pistol, which can deal damage at any range. Now, the damage this deals is 3/4 of a heart. and this is per round. Behold, 3/4 of a heart of damage. The Mauser C96 is a pistol that boasts the highest amount of ammo capacity out of any of the sidearms, and it uses 45 ACP to fire. The next sidearm which we'll be covering will be the M1911. The M1911 deals 1 heart of damage at 0 blocks, and it can deal an additional half heart of damage if it's a headshot. Behold, 1 heart of damage. Behold, 1.5 hearts of damage with the headshot. The Colt M1911 has an ammo capacity of 7 rounds, and it uses 45 ACP to fire as its primary source of ammunition. Now that we have finally covered all of the guns, we will now cover the 3 different types of grenades that you can use alongside these weapons. And keep in mind, however, that you can only carry at a maximum 4 grenades at a time. And these 4 grenades can be a combination of any one of them, or it can just be one of each one. Just as an example, I'll grab a 5th grenade and try and throw it. Now, the very first grenade which we'll be covering will be the frag grenade. The frag grenade deals physical damage to players in soft blocks such as dirt and sand. This is best used in enclosed spaces such as this to get rid of players. It also helps people get out of holes, it helps people create holes, and it helps for pushing enemies out of a position. Keep in mind, however, that blocks will naturally regenerate from explosions. Behold as I throw the frag grenade. Enemies that are hit by the frag grenade will also be inflicted with shell shock, as you can see by the glow. The next grenade which we'll be covering will be the concussion grenade. The concussion grenade deals no physical damage, but instead blinds players, also giving them shell shock for 15 seconds. This is best used in combination with an MP18 in order to surprise them. Behold, the concussion grenade. These are the effects. The last grenade which we'll be covering will be the Molotov cocktail, which creates a ball of fire upon impact. This is best used to clear wooden structures that may be effective against players. And keep in mind, players normally use fire resistance, so the effects of this grenade are severely limited, as you can see with armor plating that uses heatproof. Now that you know the different types of guns and grenades, it is important to learn how to actually produce them. Here's how. First, in order to make a gun, you must first gather all the materials that you need from the /guns menu. Here's the command on screen. Once you have gathered the required materials, you can left click on the gun which you want to make. By left clicking, you'll be able to see not only the stuff that it requires you to have to make it, but once you have the stuff to actually make it and you left click on one of these guns, it'll exchange those materials for the gun itself. Now, to make ammunition, it's about the same process. However, instead of doing /guns, you do /ammo. Once you open this menu, make sure to hover over the ammunition to see which ammunition is compatible with your weapon. If you want to go back to the guns menu, you can simply click on the guns menu down here below, and you can interchange between either one of them. The guns menu also creates grenades, and it also creates a Tanguer and a decorational rifle called the Gisali. Now, some of these materials, as you can notice, are being requested from Slime Fun. These materials, such as steel, right? Steel, aluminum, redstone alloys, reinforced steel, steel plates, etc., can all be gathered using Slime Fun. You can do the command /sf guide. Go here to resources, and it will show you each of the different materials and metals. If you click on one of these types of alloys or metals, it will show you how to make them and how to produce them. If you're confused of how to make a smeltery, you can go ahead and go here to the basic machines. If you click on the smeltery, it will show you in which order the blocks must be placed. Take note that these are physical machines. Some of these machines are made right here. This is a smeltery, as you can see. This right here is an autocrafter. This right here is an ore crusher, an ore grinder, a press, and a heater pressure chamber. You can also make electric variations of this. For more information on Slime Fun, please be sure to either click on the links of this video to look at the wiki, or to follow us up on our Slime Fun tutorial, which we'll be making soon. Thank you for watching this glorious video, and if you enjoyed it, please make sure to join Rome and fight for the glory of Rome. I am your Imperator, Kaza King Simp, and as always, for the glory of Rome, Ave Imperium.